Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for your ears. Let's talk about the 2023 film, Thanksgiving. Who thought this movie would ever get made? Eli Roth directed a fake trailer for the Grindhouse movies back in 2007 for Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, and then had the idea to turn it into a movie. Took him over a decade to make it into a movie. I finally watched it the other night, and I got to be honest, I wasn't in the mood for it and wound up loving it. As if you like slasher movies, this is the best one to come down the pike in a long time. But that's what the reviews kind of told me and kind of what I was expecting. But still, really wasn't in the mood for a slasher movie. I've been watching a lot of old Italian horror movies lately and stuff like that. So another horror movie wasn't. But it was sitting there in my stack of things I hadn't watched. And of all the things I hadn't watched yet, it was kind of the one that I really need to watch that. And I'm glad I did. Eli Roth is not my favorite director. He's directed a few horror movies that I think were really good, like the first Cabin Fever was pretty good. The Hostel movies were good for their time, but it's hard to go back and watch those. They're kind of one and done. I never saw Green Inferno, but it's on my list somewhere. Not the biggest fan of those kind of movies either. He also directed Borderlands until he stepped off of it, and then Tim Miller took over. So I would say this would be a return to form, but then Borderlands came out after. I think he left Borderlands to finish this. This was a $15 million budgeted film and went on to make about $46 million. They're making a sequel that'll be out this November, supposedly. They were also supposed to make a sequel to Green Inferno, but that never happened either. If you haven't seen the movie or the trailer that was in the Grindhouse movies, the idea is that something horrible happened on Thanksgiving, and in years later, the evil returns to take out people. It is a typical slasher, Halloween type movie, but it kind of turns it on its side. It does everything really well, like everything that you would expect in a slasher movie is here, but if there's gore, it's really good gore. If it's a tense scene, it's a really good tense scene. And they will zig when you expect them to zag sometimes, and I like that as well. The movie stars Patrick Dempsey, Addison Rae, Jalen Thomas Brooks, Gina Gershon, Rick Hoffman. One of the first things I noticed was Gina Gershon. Love her. Plastic surgery, my dear. Anyway. Eli Roth co-wrote this with Jeff Rendell. He also did the screenplay. Jeff Rendell did. But again, this is a passion project for Eli Roth. That it made money and they're making a sequel, he's got to be really pleased with. But I got to say, if you're in the mood for a slasher movie, it doesn't get much better than this. First of all, the movie opens up with a scene that actually goes on for quite a bit to kind of set up the whole thing. I had no idea that this was in the movie, but it's basically a Black Friday kind of thing gone bad. And then, a year later, Thanksgiving happens. It's in Plymouth, Massachusetts, so everything is Thanksgiving related, and he dons the mask of John Carver, the famous Plymouth. Anyway, it actually all works. It feels kind of like a Scream movie to a certain extent, but the comedy is not so overwritten as that is. The comedy comes from killer kills and the fact that, he zigged instead of zagging, that kind of thing. I think everybody in the movie does a great job. It looks fantastic. Now, as of right now, the only way to get the 4K edition is in a very expensive steelbook. A couple of months ago, Amazon had it on sale and then offered me another 30% coupon on top of it. So I paid a lot less than it's going for right now. I think as of today, it's still up to $45, $46, which is a lot of money. Came out on Blu-ray, but the only 4K you can get is the steelbook. It's never come out in a regular 4K, at least not yet. Maybe when the sequel comes out, it will. So should you, spend the extra money and get the steelbook that has the 4K in it? Absolutely. There's a little note in there from Eli Roth, and it's in all the steelbooks that basically says this is the best way to see the movie. This is how we intended the movie to look and sound. With the advent of things like HDR and Dolby Atmos, they can really put sounds where they want to put them, put the colors where they want them, everything. And since they didn't use a whole lot of computer-generated effects in this, it's a lot of practical effects. That's a wonderful thing. It's a native 4K transfer with Dolby Vision applied. Nice, warm, rich colors throughout. It's a really good-looking. It's a Sony. Sony knocks it out of the park again. And a Dolby Atmos soundtrack that's very active throughout the entire film in places where you wouldn't think it would be active, but it really comes alive during the kills, obviously. If there's gore, it's very gory. If it's tense, it's very tense. This is not doesn't rewrite the whole idea of a slasher movie. It's not going to change your life if you love slasher movies, but it will be one you go, that one fits on the shelf with some of the best slasher movies of all time. Kudos to Eli Roth and the team for doing that, because there's been millions of thousands of slasher movies. And again, I've been watching a lot of Italian horror movies that are very, very gory. This gore, a lot of practical effects, a lot of gore, a lot of entrails and things like that. Very well done. So check it out if you haven't yet. I would highly recommend the 4K. It's a state-of-the-art 5 out of 5 transfer, soundtrack, all that. Plus, if you like slasher movies, it earns its R rating, very hard R. And I'm looking forward to the sequel. So Thanksgiving, available now on 4K. That would be the one I get. I'm Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. More podcasts on the way. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and have a spectacular day.